even though the mainstream media are covering the protests less and less, I did a video about that. They have every reason to keep quiet, to keep hush, to minimize, to downplay the severity of police brutality, of police oppression, terrorism against African Americans and the civilian population. Nonetheless, every single day, I'm seeing a plethora of clips, of images exposing the true nature of policing, of how they're trying to silence dissent, crack skulls, keep protesters in line. It's absolutely horrifying. And this next clip that I'm going to show you is really one of the worst that I've seen. I can't believe this. I have no words. Just take a look. What the hell was that? Did you see that? Did you see what they did? They threw a disabled black gentleman out of his wheelchair and dogpiled him. What is this? Who does that? Have you ever seen anything like this before? What the fuck is going on? I mean, you call this policing? This is protecting and serving? That's terrorism. That's oppression. That is low-life scum behavior. That is why people call police pigs, because only a pig would do that. And that's an insult to pigs. Why would you throw a disabled man who can't walk out of his wheelchair? For what? For what? This shows you, this encapsulates perfectly how out of control these police are. They're in berserker mode. They have no interest, none whatsoever, in defending you, in protecting you, in serving you as they proudly inscribe on their badges. That is a load of horse manure. This is the real face of policing. This is what people are out in the streets for. And I can guarantee you not a single one of those scum will be fired, go to court, or pay compensation out of their own salary or out of the police union. If this poor gentleman who got thrown out of his seat, his name is Joshua Williams, if Joshua Williams receives any compensation, guess who's going to pay for it? The taxpayer. And these thugs who think that they're God on earth because they have a badge and a gun will get off scot-free. No repercussions. This where does it end, man? Like, we're in the middle of widespread protesting. People are out in the streets every single day. They have had it up to here with these scumbags. And they keep going. They killed Rayshard Brooks in Atlanta in the middle of the protest, right after George Floyd was murdered, shortly after. They're doing this. They're throwing a disabled man out of a wheelchair at the protest. They know people have had it with this brutality. And they just keep going. This cannot be reformed. There is no negotiating. There is no friendly sit down. There is no discussion to be had with pigs like that. These are not people who can be reasoned with. Okay? And then they got the gall to come and ask you, and then they got the stones. They got the nerve to accuse people of being violent. Because, of course, when you burn down a Wendy's after the police murder an unarmed black man, that's property damage. Oh, you burned down a corporate chain. But when cops kill a black man in the street for selling Lucy's, or for a counterfeit bill that ain't even a counterfeit bill, or they throw a disabled man out of his wheelchair, that's not violent. You're vilifying them. Stop vilifying them. Why are you vilifying the police? They just need a little training. Give them another $50 billion, right? It's not like they have enough money. Yeah, training will fix it, man. Of course, of course. Have you ever seen any shit like that? I swear to God, if that had happened in Syria, you would nuke Syria. You would be screaming, oh my God, human rights violations. Oh. And this is one example. Police are literally running people over with their cars. They murdered George Floyd in broad daylight. That motherfucker looked at the camera. He knew he's being watched. He wanted you to watch him do it. You're going to reform that? You think you can negotiate with people like that? You are sorely mistaken. You are sorely mistaken. This ain't no a few bad apples. This is a toxic orchard. It's gone. Burn it. You cannot negotiate with oppressors. All right? They are in a position of power. They have the resources. They have the money. They have the mayor's ear, the governor's ear. They wield extraordinary political power through their police unions. And this is how they treat you. This is how they treat African Americans. This is how they treat the working class while they are in a position of power, which shows you their true colors, which tells you everything you need to know. Look at this, man. What kind of a civilized society does that? This is the greatest country on earth. You threw a disabled man out of his wheelchair and then try to arrest him? Do you see how pathetic those two cops look when they're realizing, oh yeah, this guy can't stand up or turn around because he's paralyzed? What do? Go and hang your fucking head in shame. That's what you should do, you fucking scumbag. Look at these despicable. Look at these bastards. Seriously, zero shame. What did he do? What are you doing? And look how they trashed his wheelchair as well. Just 1 second, I can bet you, I can assure you. Look at this moment. You see that where he grabbed the baton, the truncheon? I can assure you, some right-wing scumbag is going to be like, oh, you see, he did it. He grabbed the truncheon. Motherfucker, he's disabled. On the floor. What the fuck else is he supposed to do? What is this mentality that black people, that African Americans should just accept being brutalized, that they should just lay there and take it? Fuck you. Eat shit. Look at that. Look how they throw his wheelchair away. Look, his leg is still stuck to it and they're just yanking it off like this is the dehumanization of African Americans by the police. And this is not new. Make no mistake. Oh, look at that. Look, this person tries to pick it up. Man, it's unbelievable. Look at that. And you see now they realize they can't turn him over because he's disabled, and they're just kneeling there like idiots. What a bunch of clowns. How disgusting. Shame on them, man. Shame on them. Shame on them. Defund the police? Defund? Fucking abolish it. Get rid of it. You cannot reform that. This is psychotic. This is sick. Who does that? Why would you do that to anybody, never mind someone who is disabled? What did he do? He had a gun in his hand? What was so necessary that you had to do that? Motherfuckers. I'm so sick of this, man. I really am. It just doesn't finish, you know? Fucking scum. Fucking scum. And then they want you to respect them. And then they claim that they're being vilified. No. You vilified yourself. Everyone with a shred, anyone with a shred of empathy, of common sense, can see what's going on here. There's no commentary. There's no lack of context. You have no fucking business doing that to him. None. I can't believe I have to even break this down. The fact that I have to explain this is denigrating in itself. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be having this conversation in the first place. No civilized society behaves like that. What do you expect? What do you expect from people who murder a young woman in her sleep? You expect them to treat someone who's disabled any better? You can't reform this. You can't reform this, man. This is... revolting, really. Revolting. While we're still on the topic, there's another clip that surfaced. More police brutality. Yes, this is an everyday thing, always has been. This one, however, is not from LA, it's from New York. And it happened to a homeless man. So let me just show you the clip, and I mean, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself.
Don't touch me. Let's go. Get off of me. Come on, just step off. Get off of me. Come. Don't touch me. Let's go. Get off of me. Come on, just step off. Get off of me.
What is that? What is this Gestapo shit? What is this? You call this a civilized country? This is heartbreaking. It's a homeless dude. Was that necessary? If you do that to a homeless man who posed no threat, what are you going to do to a real criminal? They have a gun, you're going to bring out a rocket launcher? What is this disproportionate thuggery that you keep seeing? I really think there's an important takeaway here, besides the fact that they are violent pigs, is that more and more you're starting to see that on top of the racial inequality, the racial violence, the internalized systemic racism that has always been a part of America, of the United States, on top of that, you are seeing class warfare here. Yeah, you are. I told you multiple times. I keep trying to get this point across. These cops are not here to serve you. Yes, you pay their salaries. Yes, on their squad cars and their badges, it says to protect and serve. To protect and serve whom? It's not you. It's not the working class. It's the ruling class. It's the elites. When there is widespread public dissent, the police will come and crack your skulls. They will turn against you, the working class. They will even turn against people fighting for their own interests. Case in point, just look at the yellow vest protests in France, les gilets jaunes. Ouais, quand il y avait les pompiers qui se battaient avec les flics. When you had the firefighters protesting and having it out. Having these clashes with the cops. You know why the firefighters were protesting, right? For their pensions, among other things. But mainly for the cuts that Macron was trying to do. Guess what? Those cuts don't just affect the firefighters. They affected the cops too. And yet the cops were beating up the people fighting for them. They were beating up the firefighters. This is the reality that we are in. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't turn a blind eye. Don't try to rationalize it into something else. Okay? This is not normal. This is not okay. And that iconic image from 2-3 weeks ago where you had protests outside Wall Street. I was wondering for quite some time, why is no one protesting outside Wall Street? I found that a bit weird. But finally, maybe the news just wasn't getting through. It's also possible. But finally, we saw crowds outside next to the bull, right? The Wall Street bull. And in a depiction of pure irony, you saw 2 cops standing in front of the bull, protecting it. A striking symbol of the reality that we are in. The police are here to protect the elites, the bankers, the politicians, the ones running the show, the 1%, not you. No matter how much they oppress you, no matter how stark the inequality becomes, the wealth inequality, the racial inequality, the cops will always come and crack your skulls. And mind you, there are cases where the army pulls a coup, or the army stands with the people, which is what should be happening. It's very sad. It's putting it mildly. It's horrifying that the cops and the military, whether we're talking National Guard or the full-time soldiers, not the weekend ones, the military, are not on your side. They should be, but they're not. That's very fucking concerning. But really, you're seeing over and over and over this blatant class warfare that's happening. And, that's why they give cops the nickname class traitors. Because, you put on that uniform, you're not serving the people. You think you might be. In some cases, you are. Sure. You helped an old lady cross the street. Wow. A social worker could have done that. An EMT could have done that. Motherfucker, I could have done that. But showing up to deal with a counterfeit bill or somebody having a panic attack or a quarrel with a gun? No. That's there is no way on earth you can justify that. You are de facto escalating the situation merely by being present. This system is broken, man. Beyond broken.